All right, as promised, here is Marty Biron, our TSN Hockey analyst, to talk about yet another victory for the Montreal Canadiens, this time over their rivals in Boston. And Nick Suzuki with his 80th point of the season on an assist to Cole Caufield. Yeah. Marty, what are you seeing in terms of chemistry between these two players?
It's amazing, right? You look at the 2-on-1 goal by Caufield, and Suzuki toe drags, and most players would say, oh, well, he's going to shoot. And Caufield still stays open because he knows that if at any moment Nick Suzuki is going to give him the puck, he wants to be ready. Look, Nick Suzuki is unbelievable this season. I think, look, Bob Gainey and Guy Carbonneau, they never had offensive seasons like Nick Suzuki is having right now. And Nick Suzuki is still an unbelievable defensive centerman. And that's why he's on at the end of the game with Jake Evans and Yoel Armia, and he gets the empty net goal. That's because he is so good defensively. So I'm looking at the chemistry between Caufield and Suzuki, and all season long, right? Juraj Slafkovsky has been with them, and in the second half has been able to benefit from the chemistry. But that 2-on-1 was so well played by Suzuki and so well understood by Caufield to know, I'm not going to quit. I'm going to give him that option. And yes, I said Bob Gainey and Guy Carbonneau, those two won Selke trophies.
Yep.
And I think that Nick Suzuki will win a Selke trophy sometimes.
I think you're probably right about that. Very quickly, can I just ask you about the job Marty St. Louis has done with this team? Marty, like at this point, are we considering Jack Adams finalist for this guy? It seemed like maybe a year ago when maybe Marty St. Louis was maybe done. You know, maybe he was finished. Maybe he'd taken this team as far as it could go. And now he's gotten him over the hump and probably in the postseason. It's just remarkable.
The biggest difference with Marty St. Louis, I feel, and look, he may get some votes as a Jack Adams candidate. I don't think he'll win this year. Look at Spencer Carberry in Washington, and you know, Jim Montgomery in St. Louis could also be in that conversation as well. But Marty will get some votes. And the biggest difference is the turnaround defensively of this team. You look at how bad defensively they were in the first 2 months of the season. They were chasing everywhere, all around their defensive zone, and nobody knew what they were doing. And he took his time and explained his system, and he adjusted his system as well. But you're seeing now a much different defensive team, and Samuel Montembeault is saying thank you very much, because you see the play of Samuel Montembeault now because of how good defensively they are. I think that's the biggest thing. A coach that's willing to adjust in season, you don't see that often. You saw that from Marty St. Louis this year.
You and I have been talking about Linus Ullmark all year long, and he had been struggling lately, Marty. 19 goals allowed over his previous 6 games going into Thursday, and then Thursday night just turns in an unbelievable performance against the Lightning, 31 saves. What did you see differently from Ullmark on Thursday?
Well, when Ullmark relies on his positioning and doesn't have happy feet, he doesn't chase the game, then he's a lot better and a lot different of a goaltender. Think of how he played behind the Boston Bruins defensive system. And that's why he won a Vezina, because he didn't have to try to do too much. He didn't have to dive. He didn't have to, just play rebounds after rebounds. And I thought against Tampa Bay, the biggest thing for me was that he had really good rebound control, while the one goal he gave up was actually on the tough rebound that laid right next to him. But the save on Gensel on the 2-on-1 there, and the save on Hagel on the breakaway, you look at this positioning and you think, this is a big goaltender that covers so much net. And if he's not taking himself out of position, he can be the same level than he was when he won the Vezina Trophy in Boston. And look, at an .878 save percentage over his last 6 games, that wasn't good. He was still 3-3, but you needed a good performance against one of the better teams in the National Hockey League, and you got that from Linus Ullmark.
And now you got the Sens on the verge of their first postseason appearance since 2017, Marty. It looks like they'll probably face the winner of the Atlantic Division. We might even get that Battle of Ontario we're craving. I guess the question, though, is what would it take for the Sens to pull off a first-round upset, whether it's against Toronto, Florida, or Tampa?
Well, score first, because the Ottawa Senators are 31-6 this season when scoring first. And it's a big difference, and it's a different team when they get the lead. Now, when you look at the way that the Sens were able to beat the Tampa Bay Lightning, it's the same way you're going able to pull an upset in the first round of the playoffs. It starts with Tim Stützle. He only had 1 point in his previous 5 games before playing the Lightning, and he had a beauty of an assist on Jake Sanderson's power play goal. He had a couple of other plays where you can see the creativity, you can see the buzz, you can see the offense from Tim Stützle. I think he needs to be a primary guy if you want to pull up an upset. Shane Pinto, no goals in 9 before the Tampa Bay game. He gets a goal. The power play was 0 for 9 in the last 4 games before Tampa. They got to go. They don't need to go 3 for 6, 2 for 5. They just need 1 goal to get them over the hump. And let's not forget their captain, Brady Tkachuk. If he can come back at 90, 95%, doesn't need to be 100%. I think all of these pieces together can put Ottawa into a position to have an upset and pull the upset in the first round. I think it's very possible the way they play when all of the depth and all the players are coming together.
The Sens will get a chance to face one of those Atlantic Division leading candidates in the Florida Panthers. That game will be on Saturday, and the Montreal Canadiens continue their homestand Saturday as well. They'll be hosting the Philadelphia Flyers. Marty, hope you have a great weekend, okay?